Hello and welcome back to my channel, and today we're taking a look at Predator Hunting Grounds. Now this is a game from 2021 and well, it's no longer popular, so to say, because of a rather janky launch when it comes to performance. A lot of complaints and forum threads and what's not. Was also given out for free on Epic Store. This is the only reason I have this game, but yeah, back in the day I kind of wanted to play it. Very similar to, I would want to say, Evolve. You hunt 3 other or 4 players, and those 4 players hunt you. You then progress with your skills, abilities, and become a better hunter or prey, depending how you look on it. Now, when it comes to requirements, the minimum CPU should be Intel Core i5 6400, with the minimum GPU being NVIDIA GTX 960. Recommended CPU is an Intel Core i7 5930K, and recommended GPU is NVIDIA GTX 1660. So, as per usual, we're gonna max this game out first, and then we're gonna go from there. We're going with a 2K native resolution. DirectX 12 API, you do have choice between 11 or 12. Honestly, there's not a lick of difference in performance between the two, which is very odd. And also you get DLSS and FSR support and ray tracing in DirectX 11, which is not unusual, but it is also a little bit unusual because technically that feature is supported or should be supported mainly only in DirectX 12, but hey ho, you know, coder's gonna code. Maximum frame rate unlimited, no upscalers, no motion blur, resolution scale 100%, and everything else is cranked up to cinematic because we do have i9 99K and 4070 Ti with 32 gigs of actual system RAM. So I think we should be fine. No ray trace reflections, obviously, because we don't want that. And what we're gonna do, here's a pro tip: if you wanna learn the map and explore everything in your own pace, dial in the graphical fidelity settings, use a private match. So when you do a private match, you can just choose which map you're gonna be playing on. You can add some AI enemies in, you know, just so you're not alone in the map, but you can be if you want, and that's it. You just start your own match, which kinda, it's not gonna be the same multiplayer performance, so to say, per se, because multiplayer and the netcode is a little bit different, but it will feel a bit more alive. I would want to say the actual multiplayer will probably take away a good chunk of at least 10 up to 15 FPS based on the network connection and everything else going on and how much chaos you're gonna do. Now let's talk about this game and how it ended up in the state it is in. By the state it's in, based on Steam Tracker, currently as of today, at the moment of recording, only 40 people are still playing this game. This was one of the most expected games back in 2021, because you can actually play as an actual Predator. And now he's gonna do the screech, so I'm gonna shut up for about 15 seconds, enjoy the silence. Right, here we are. So, what do we see? Yes, this is exactly what we see. We're pulling 8.4 gigs of video memory allocated, 9.2 of RAM, and we are around 67 frames. So I would want to say that mainly the biggest, the main reason why people stopped playing this game is not because of the mechanics would be too simple or too bad or too advanced. The general rule of thumb for people not playing the games, or the games actually losing their player base, is the game's performance. Like, this is something that I think certain people like devs simply do not understand. And when it comes to this game, obviously you play as a Predator and you can cloak yourself. You have the shoulder mounted weapon or the plasma gun, plasma cannon. You have the wrist blades. You can leap, jump, hide, hunt, and you have a lot of things going on there. I mean, but the performance should be on point, because in games like these with the open spaces, a lot of quick movements, chaotic battles, you cannot expect people with above average or even average gaming systems to just sacrifice their frames and their enjoyment just to kind of feed your ego, because in all honesty, let's be real, 70 frames with a 4070 Ti and 99K in 2K resolution when the recommended CPU is a 5th gen i7. And don't even start me on comparing a 4070 Ti with the GTX 1660. Like, that's no longer even apples to potatoes comparison. That is two completely different tiers of GPUs. And here's the thing why all the forums and threads are full of optimization tips and tricks. YouTube is full of them, and honestly I took some of them for the spin, because honestly playing on cinematic quality, even with system like mine, which is not by far the top tier system, let's be honest, but I would expect this game to churn out a bit more than 68 frames and 40 milliseconds, and that obviously goes all the way up to 25 and even 30. So what you want to do is go to options, go for graphics, and this is kind of like personal preference. Shadow quality is suggested to be either on medium or low. I like myself low because shadows are black, and I don't like shadows because I can barely see. I don't know, it's probably an eyesight issue. And view distance. So this game's engine might be rendering the world and everything else outside of your actual player viewport. So it's kind of like always to be ready when you do a leap or you do something that something's already there and you don't have additional hiccups and loading in and everything else. So I can understand why they might be doing it, but the view distance should be on low because you will be literally looking over your shoulder. So rendering further the other side of the map is simply not required. Let's apply the changes and let's look now. Bada beam, bada boom. 120 frames. Now, granted, this will fluctuate up and down, but the game actually feels way more responsive. We're already within 8 to 7, sometimes 6 milliseconds for the frame time. This is much more playable. Like, this is how it should be with a system on everything cranked out on cinematic. Now, of course, you can optimize this game even further. Like, this is not the limit, so to say, but I mean, if I have to choose between barely 60 frames when running on foliage on the ground and 116, I mean, let's be honest here. Like this, I don't know how to put this. And what makes me a little bit sad is back in the day when this game was announced, a lot of how to say, famous people, right? A lot of streamers and YouTubers, they were saying, oh, this is gonna be the new best thing, oh wow, you can finally be a Predator, and I totally get the hype. I understand the hype, and you know, it's definitely might have been worth it, but not with the performance like this. Like, there's no way you can do this with this kind of performance. It's just not gonna work. Where are you? Like, this is a little bit satisfying, you know, like, if those are my friends, or they're hunting me, I can understand why this would literally, you know, activate the neurons. Like, you sneak up on your friend, or you just execute him, and then you remind him for the rest of his days how he lost a match against you. I mean, this is the driving force between majority of the games and co-ops and multiplayers when it comes to it. But you cannot do it with sub 60 frames in an open world survival competitive title. Like, unfortunately that's not how it works. Now, granted, some people say that this game runs absolutely fine on PS5. PS4 players and PC players are the ones that apparently are getting the short end of the stick. But hey ho, you know, like, it really depends, I guess, on your personal viewpoint. I think no game should be released like this. But it's just my personal opinion. Now, obviously the AI is reduced in terms of health and everything else, but just for the benchmarking purposes, which honestly I can't even call this a benchmark, because as you know, on my channel I usually crank out the settings and see whatever we get, but I'm noticing a running theme when it comes to free games that you can acquire on Epic. And this is not a stab at the game devs, but majority of the semi-dead games or the non-popular ones are ending up on Epic more and more and more. Like, even now when there's a Christmas giveaways, we're getting games that Epic was giving us back years and years and years, which obviously they do have a certain amount of repeat games. But for Predator, that still actually sells for about £21 as I'm recording today, it was given away on Christmas sale as well on Epic. So, you know, go figure. Like, you can tell me that Epic is doing, you know, Epic's work and giving us free games, but somehow it feels a bit weird. Oh no, short circuit. But yeah, while I'm speaking and talking to myself, looking at my mic, this is the game performance I would expect. This is how it should actually play without any tweaks. But yeah, I guess you just have to take with a little bit of salt or everything like this. So let's just turn it all back so you can understand why I'm a little bit confused. 80 frames. '69, 63. Wow. We're gonna be sub 60 at some degree. We're gonna be sub 60. And this is just a private match with some AI. This is not even over netcode. It's... Ah, there we go. 59 right there. And the game is sluggish. It feels slow. Like, slow to turn, slow to react. Like, if I had to defend myself against two different points, this would be a challenge. There's no other words I can say. It would be a challenge to defend against two locations in my proximity with how the game behaves. Actually overshot. You can literally see the difference. I'm trying to compensate for the lag and it just went over the shoulder. Look at this. It's just how it is. Now, granted, is this a bad game? No. Does it look amazing? Not really, but you know, it fits the theme for Predator and Jungle and everything. Is the gameplay mechanics good? I haven't played this game at all, to be fair, so I do not have opinion on it. I do like that you can cloak, I do like you have the plasma cannon, I do like that you have the wrist blades. Probably you can upgrade your character, get skills and bonuses and get the throwable disc or the smart disc or the spear. I do not know. Maybe it's something very similar to Aliens and versus Colonial Marines and the Predator, where you upgrade all the stuff and then you kind of fight each other, which I think was one of the best things that happened when it comes to AVP universe. But yeah, definitely do not play this game on like 60 frames. You're gonna be so sorry about it. You will be sorry. But yeah, outside of that, hey, if it works, it works. But that's all I have for you guys today. Maybe kind of went out as a little rant, but it just is how it is. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Over and out.